So there's currently a bidding war going on for the future of the Halloween franchise, and even though a movie called Halloween Ends came out last year, did anybody actually think it was going to be the end? Well, it technically was the end of the new Halloween trilogy, which, to say the least, was extremely controversial from start to finish. There was the 2018 Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween Ends. And I have very, very conflicting views on that trilogy as a whole. There's some really good aspects of it. There's some really bad aspects of it. I think most people tend to agree that Halloween Ends was pretty much a gigantic disappointment. It does have some fans out there, but I mean, Halloween Resurrection has some fans. So what are you going to do, man? There's some fans of it out there. I haven't rewatched it. I watched it once in theaters. And I have not rewatched it. And even though I own the whole Halloween franchise on Blu-ray, I still have not brought myself to pick up Halloween Ends. I'm just not ready to go back to it, man. And very controversial take probably, but my favorite of the newest Halloween trilogy was actually Halloween Kills, which I know that a lot of people don't like. A lot of people like the first one the best, the Halloween 2018 as the best, but I had a lot of problems with it, man. I didn't really like the cringy humor that was in it. I didn't like, bringing it back to not making Michael Myers and Laurie Strode siblings, because I felt like, even though the original movie doesn't do that, I felt like it was such an established lore concept that it was just hard to detach myself from that. I didn't like how they gave Laurie Strode a daughter, but they didn't cast Danielle Harris, which would have been the perfect opportunity to bring the two, different timelines together. It would have been the perfect opportunity to have the two main actresses of the Halloween franchise together, but they didn't do that. I was kind of underwhelmed with a lot of aspects of it. Halloween Kills, I actually really like, because Halloween Kills is pretty much just Michael Myers being an incredibly unstoppable force, because all the stuff that was established in 2018 that I didn't like, it was already established. So going into Halloween Kills, I already knew what I was getting. I already knew like the new world that was set up. So I was a little bit more okay with it. I was like, all right, fine. Let's see where this goes. I like the storyline with the police officer character. I like all the flashbacks to the 70s. I liked how unstoppable Michael Myers was. I like some of the nods and references to things like Halloween 3. And I just really, really enjoyed it. And I even liked the idea of like the town kind of imploding and destroying itself. I know everyone jokes about evil dies tonight. And I know, whatever, it is what it is. I still think that movie did a better job at showcasing a small town kind of caving in on itself and destroying each other better than the Corey storyline from Halloween Ends, which is essentially the same thing, just taken a step further. But I think Halloween Kills did it better. But anyways, I know that's in the minority, whatever. Let's talk about the article itself. They're saying right now, basically, both A24, the movie studio, and Miramax are kind of vying for the rights of Halloween. But specifically, this was the very interesting part about this article that I was going to bring up, that they are talking about television rights for the series. Now, this is kind of really strange to me, because thinking about Halloween, it kind of, I think, lends itself better to doing movies than it does to do television shows. I know we are getting a television series of Friday the 13th eventually called Crystal Lake, but there's a lot of rights issues with that too, because it's a prequel series and it can only use stuff that is from the first Friday the 13th movie. So it's not going to be Jason the hockey mask. It's not going to be any of that stuff. I don't really know what it's ultimately going to be, but that's in the works, was put on hold because of the writer's strike. But if there is a Halloween television series, I've heard a lot of different rumors about possibilities of what it could be, and it might not even involve Michael Myers. It's the franchise rights, but the original concept after Halloween 2 was to do a Halloween-themed movie every year, or every year that the franchise came out, that wouldn't necessarily connect to the others. So that's why Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is so completely different. It's about the, ancient rituals with the Halloween masks and some weird dimension of snakes and spiders and kids' heads exploding. I don't know. It's great. It's a great movie. I love it. Robots are in it. Everyone loves robots. Anyway, so if they did something like that, I think that could be really interesting. You could have like a 10-episode series that is like an anthology, where every episode is a different Halloween-themed subject matter. That could be really, really interesting, and get like a lot of different creative ideas. It could be like a really like hardcore R-rated like Twilight Zone style series. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the direction they're going to go. I've just heard that rumor kind of being thrown around. And I think if they're going to do a television series, I think that would be the better route to go, to be honest. But it's basically saying there's a massive bidding war for the television rights, with several parties involved, including A24 and Miramax, currently battling for the TV rights. You might recall A24 won the rights of the Friday the 13th series, and they're working on Crystal Lake. Yep. Sources have also indicated that Trancas is open to both film and television products, and they're currently taking offers from studios and streamers alike. Everything's on the table this time, and ultimately it's up to Trancas to field the pitches and decide what is the most appealing in the wake of Gordon Green's sequel trilogy. Miramax would be a participant in any film deals since they co-own the film rights to all the sequels. So there's that too to keep in mind. And it's basically just talking about the last trilogy that came out. And one thing is certain, Michael Myers will be back. Yes, you cannot keep a good Michael Myers down. Look at that beautiful bastard right there, man. See, I love that scene too from Halloween Kills where he comes out and kills all the firefighters, man. Halloween Kills is great. You guys are just wrong. Anyways, no. I mean, look, there's one thing I want in this world. It's more Michael Myers in my life. I would say Halloween is probably my favorite horror franchise. I'd say Evil Dead as far as like consistency goes. Like I love Evil Dead, but I have like this deep-seated, ever since I was a child, just absolute admiration and love for the Halloween series. I love I love Halloween 3, even though it's completely different. I love the Jamie Lloyd movies with 4, 5, and 6. Not really 6. The only ones I hate are Resurrection and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I love all the others. And Halloween Ends. To be fair, I should revisit it, but I really don't want to. But anyways, I want to see Michael Myers return to the big screen more than anything else. If it's a TV series, I would prefer them to go the anthology route. But if they do movies again, I would love them to bring Michael Myers back. How should they do it, though? Because now Halloween has all of these multiple different timelines, right? You have the original timeline that goes up to part 6. You have the H2O timeline, which is 1, 2, H2O Resurrection. You have the Rob Zombie remake timeline. And now you have the reboot trilogy timeline with the original, 2018 Kills and Ends. So what the fuck do you do here with this, right? Jamie Lee Curtis is never coming back again. Do we really want like a 70-some-year-old Laurie Strode? I mean, probably some people do, but like, what do you do with this at this point? I would say, and as much as I generally don't like this idea, I think probably the best thing to do for Halloween is to actually reboot it from the beginning. I think that you could take a lot of the knowledge and lore from the existing Halloween franchise, and you could definitely do aspects of it again, but in a more concise and more, thought out way, to maybe you have an idea of like a trilogy or 4 films or 5 films, and you have an idea of where the story is going to go, rather than how they used to do it back in the day, where it's like, hey, this movie made a lot of money, let's make another one. Let's not really make it as connected to the last film, but let's just add in a bunch of cult stuff, or let's add in some dude in a black suit, shooting up the prison cell. What's that going to mean? I don't know. But now that you have all this kind of established Halloween lore from all these movies, you could take those aspects and you could actually make like a coherent, cohesive version of that storyline. I mean, yes, you'd have to start probably back at the beginning. You'd have to do the Laurie Strode thing again, which maybe some people are tired of. But I think after you did that, you could actually have a movie where Laurie Strode has her daughter, and you could have it be Jamie. You could have a Dr. Loomis that would carry through the franchise. You could have aspects of like Halloween 6. Let's not do the cult thing again, but maybe there is a cult out there somewhere that like worships Michael Myers like that, right? And Michael's not under their control. Cut out the bad parts, take parts that could be cool. You could also do the Halloween 3 stuff. Maybe you could add in some weird supernatural element where there are people trying to put these Halloween masks on children and create some sort of sacrifice ritual. Doesn't necessarily have to be connected to Michael Myers, but you could make it in a way where all of these things are happening, right? So like Michael Myers isn't the only weird thing that's out there. And you could just create this kind of like horror supernatural world of the Halloween universe, start it from the very beginning. It would be quite the undertaking, and I think you would need like really massive fans of the franchise to do it. But I think that's really the only direction to go at this point, because how many times can you go back and reboot or kind of like say, okay, the original movie still happened back in the 70s. By the time they make another movie, it's going to be nearly 50 years. It's, nothing's ever going to be better than that original movie. But if you're making new movies, it's not going to be relevant anymore. You know what I mean? Like you have to start over, I feel like. But that's if they did a movie. And don't get my words twisted. Nothing's ever going to be better than the original Halloween. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at this point, by the time you get to make another movie in 2025, it's going to be time. it's going to be time to start things over, I feel like. And if you had somebody at the helm that's a really big fan of the franchise, I think you could direct it in a really interesting way, and lead through an entire franchise that feels like it has a connectivity to it. But I don't know, man. Anyways, what do you guys think about the future of the Halloween franchise? Do you want to see it in movies? Do you want to see it in TV? Do you not want to see it at all? Do you think Michael Myers should just stay fucking chopped up in a wood chipper and never see the light of day again? I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Give it a like, give it a comment. Let me know what you think. I'll talk to you later.